Well, hello there. This is Mark Idelman, speech-language pathologist, and welcome to the teaching of talking. This video today is going to be about the art of conversation. Now, if you want to know why it's important for us to speak, it's because speaking predominantly occurs within a conversation. So, one of the wonderful things about conversation is that we can meet with our children, our parents, our friends, our acquaintances, our business colleagues, and quite often we need to have conversations with them in order to find out information and share information. And that's one of the most important and significant factors that are involved in speaking. That speaking occurs to convey information and to receive information. And so when I look at speech therapy, often for people with Broca's aphasia that have difficulty initiating speech, what I find is that they have significant difficulty then engaging in any kind of conversation. Now, if you have an inability to engage in conversation, then you're missing out on some of the most beautiful aspects of living. And we all know what it's like to lose something. And for the person with aphasia, when they lose the ability to talk or to converse, it's extremely traumatic. And they're missing out on one of the most important aspects of living, the ability to share a message, to receive a message. So if we know that about the basics of speech, that is to engage in a conversation, to share information, then I always thought, as I was coming up as a young speech pathologist, that my therapy then needed to include the ability to answer a question and to ask a question. Okay? To answer a question, to ask a question. That's what speech is. Or to share information. And so when I looked at what was going on with speech notebooks and computer programs and things like that, I did not see a whole lot of interventions that dealt with conversation, the ability to engage another person in conversation. And to me, if you're going to return a person and to return their speech, then you've got to do it, if possible, within the framework of a conversation, because that's what speaking is. I think that too much of the materials that speech therapists are using today, I believe that they don't spend enough time on the conversation, and they don't simplify the ability to hold a conversation. Now, I think I've told you in some of my videos in the past that I used to date this young woman when I was in high school, and her father, when I'd go pick her up, he would say very little. He'd say maybe one or two words, and that's all. And my date would then remind me that even though her father didn't say much, what he did or what he didn't say communicated a great deal. So you don't have to speak in long sentences like I am with you right now, but you can learn how to ask a question and answer a question in as much as 1, 2, or 3 words. So this, I want to emphasize that a person doesn't have to be able to speak in long sentences to communicate. They can communicate in 1, 2, or 3 words, and they can communicate just fine and let you know exactly how they feel about something or what they want to know. So that's what we approach with the teaching of talking. It's within a conversational framework. It's the most natural framework of all because it duplicates the ability to speak. It duplicates conversation. So if you want to get better at conversation, then my thought has always been to develop a conversation within a speech therapy framework and address speaking in that manner. So if a person is only able to say one word, then we start a conversation at one word. And we get them to ask questions with one word. And then as they get accustomed to that, we then expand our questions and answers to 2 words, 3 words, 4 words, or more. And it's a very sequential process and a very simple process. And it engages the other person in a conversation. And that's one of the biggest things that people with aphasia lose. They lose the ability to share information with another person. So that's what we climb into right away within the therapy environment. Yeah, if a person has something like a global aphasia, or if a person has something like an apraxia, well, there are other ways to approach those kinds of speaking problems. With an apraxia, you first have to get the person to be able to say a word clearly. I mean, can you imagine? You can't really teach somebody to have a conversation if they can't say the words clearly. So with people with apraxia or people with speaking difficulties where their speech is not clear or if it's garbled, that has to be addressed before the conversational approach. So we have a book on improving apraxia, and this was written for caregivers and speech therapists. And we also have a book on how to help a person with aphasia, like a Broca's aphasia, person who has difficulty initiating speech. And we teach you in that book some of the techniques that I've spent over 50 years developing. Now, for some of you, you may need a more hands-on approach. So we also mentor caregivers, and we work with individuals with aphasia on a one-on-one. And below this video are a number of ways that you can contact me. There's my email address, there's my website, there's a sign up for a free consultation. So there's a lot of different links down below that you can use to contact me, because I'd be more than happy to help you. I'd be happy to answer any of your questions to help you get a better idea of what needs to happen if you have a loved one who's lost their ability to speak. Because let's face it, there are a lot of people, even doctors, many of them, they're not really sure what to do to help a person regain the ability to speak. They have to rely on the speech pathologist, and the speech pathologist is the person that you're going to want to communicate with and consult with to help you or a loved one speak again. So this is Mark Edelman. If you've enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up. And if you'd like to subscribe to our channel, please do so. And below the video are a bunch of links so that if you want to contact me, my email is down there. Or if you want to you purchase any of our books or any of our products, we even have a video program that will help teach you how to help those with a Broca's like aphasia. And we have a book on apraxia if you are working with somebody and you want them to improve their speaking if they have a diagnosis of apraxia. So on that, I'm going to bid goodbye now, and I hope to see you at some point in the near future. Okay, bye-bye now.